The show goes on. Big Biz Show, bigbizshow.com is where you can find us. Also, don't forget, Sully Speaks Money on TikTok. Got 100,000 followers there. Got 3 million
Blow it
active
up.
users. We're putting stuff all over. Wyatt and Devin and the crew are putting stuff together. Talking about the debt ceiling. Talking about... What else are we talking about? That's something else we're talking about.
Shorts.
Shorts. Pick my shorts.
That's right.
Bam. Bam.
Ba-boom.
Bam. Would you like to come up on stage sometime and just,
Bam.
really play with the band?
Like kazoo or
No, sing.
sing? Yeah,
Come and sing.
I'd love to.
Big show. We've got like a few thousand people out there.
Sure.
Would you do it?
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe an Elvis number.
There we go.
That'd be kind of cool.
I was thinking Avril Lavigne.
It's more my speed.
Don't you
Yeah.
think so?
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Or maybe the Cheers song. Norm.
Everyone knows your name? Oh. See, I just walked
You're in
right
this-
into it. What? Sorry.
Same spot every time at the bar. Hey, my good friend Martin Lehr is here. Martin Lehr is the CEO and co-founder of a company called Context Therapeutics. They are publicly traded under the stock symbol CNTX. And boy, have you seen this company in the last week. Marty is taking down brick walls and busting through them in the world of hormone-driven female cancers. And I'm bringing him back as much as I can. I want to get him into San Diego when I can. I think he actually is coming in town here very shortly. But I give you Martin Lehr. Martin, how are you, sir? Heck of a week, pal.
Yeah, not bad. Company's doing well. Philadelphia Eagles are doing well.
Yeah,
Life's
I
good.
knew it was coming. You know, it was over under 10 seconds, and he was going to say something like that. Hey,
I'll take it.
I'm just going to let you take over and talk about the news that came out earlier this week. I called up Marty, and I said, hey, man, you're having a great day in the market. Wish I was going to take credit for it with Big Biz Show, but apparently I have this huge press release, so I can't take credit for this one. Talk about it. It was a very big announcement, and it was a fantastic outcome.
Yeah, and so at the core, Context Therapeutics is a company focused on developing cancer treatments, particularly for women with advanced or metastatic breast, ovarian, endometrial cancer. And we announced in August a clinical partnership with a company called Sully Therapeutics, which is a subsidiary of a 100-year-old Italian pharmaceutical company named Menarini, which probably most of your viewers have never heard of. Menarini is a large company. They have 18,000 employees. They have a deep interest in developing a women's oncology franchise. And to anchor that, they announced over the last week the approval of Orserdu, which is the newest estrogen blocker for breast cancer. And what's really important is that we are running a clinical trial with that same very drug in breast cancer to really look at two things. The drug Orserdu was approved for women with genetically defined breast cancer. So they have a particular mutation that makes them responsive to that drug. So we want to see if we can make that response even better, so women respond to drug longer, potentially live longer. And then we want to see if the drug can now work in patients who don't necessarily have that genetic population. Sure. So we really value the partnership with Sully. We think that the potential for our clinical trial with them has the opportunity to expand the use of their drug. And that means great things for women with cancer. That means better drugs, better quality of life, better outcomes. So it was a very exciting week for us. I'm sure it was exciting for Sully, and a great start to the year for Context.
And it was great. It was great for your shareholders as well. Marty, talk to us about this estrogen thing, because we're a studio today full of men that don't understand why we need an estrogen blocker with respect to cancer. Can you put that in layman's terms for us?
Yeah, I'll give an analogy. I think we're all familiar with puberty. Everyone goes through it. For
Mike's
men,
going through it now. You know, he's got
exactly.
he's got a big zit in the end of his nose right now. I haven't talked to him about.
Yeah, so you have hormones, right? For men, testosterone, for women, estrogen and progesterone. And that's what drives puberty and the maturation of our reproductive organs. And so for women with these cancers, in some cases, those same hormones that were required for the growth of those organs, well, they get reactivated in the cancers. And so those cancers start making their own progesterone, their own estrogen, and it stimulates this wild growth of the cells. Okay. And so what we try to do is block that with our drug, Ona XR, which blocks progesterone. And then the stem line drug Orserdu, that blocks estrogen. So the whole idea is we know estrogen and progesterone drive these cancers and the growth of these tissues. So let's try to block both hormones and see if that can provide a better outcome for patients.
Hey, Marty, I got to ask you, and by the way, Martin Lehr is our guest. He's the CEO and co-founder of Context Therapeutics, CNTX. He's a real entrepreneur. This is what I like about Marty, is not only is he saving the world and saving lives, but he's an entrepreneur building his business and the business of the shareholders and looking for shareholder value. And I can tell you, some of the biggest companies in this world that are publicly traded are not as active as Marty is with his, and Marty's going to be one of those companies very shortly. I've got to ask you, some of these press releases, like the press release you just put out this week, that's landmarking for you guys as a company. And I know you can't, as a publicly traded company, as a CEO, can't tell us everything. But I have to ask you about 2023. I mean, you're moving along right there in the FDA sort of road. You've got lots of good verticals that are going in the right direction. Talk about what you think is going to be the outcome for 2023, and how far down the field are we going to get the ball this year?
Yeah, I think what we've guided people is 2022 was, in many aspects, a blocking and tackling year for the company, setting us up for 23, which would be our big data year. And for biotech companies like ourselves, data is what drives value for shareholders. Data means that your drugs are working, patients are benefiting, and when the patient wins, the shareholder most often wins. And so for this year, we're busy. So we've guided investors to the second and fourth quarters of the year as being the data-intensive quarters. And it's not like there would be just sort of one data set in 1 month. There's going to be a pretty regular cadence across those quarters, across our various programs and trials. So we like to think about this year as pretty consistent news flow, where we'll be flipping data cards and sharing that with the public community.
Yeah, I think the exciting part of this thing is if you go to their website and do a little bit of diligence, which is contexttherapeutics.com, you can see the chart there of where they are in the arc of that FDA story, and those blue bars just keep on moving in the right direction to the right here. And I believe there's two therapies here, or there's a few therapies that we're talking about here. And I can't pronounce the name of it, but the one that's in phase 1, moving into phase 2. Talk about that just for 1 second and where we are in the journey.
Yeah, so we have 2 programs. One is Onexar, it's our progesterone receptor antagonist. That drug's been in over 150 women to date.
Wow.
Our 3 primary clinical trials were just listed on our website that you showed. 2 breast cancer trials, which we refer to as SMILE and ALONA. They all have fancy acronyms. And then a 3rd trial in endometrial cancer that we're calling our OATH trial. All 3 of those trials are in mid-stage development, and all 3 will have material data updates this year. We also have a very cool emerging program called CTIM76. That's about a year away from human trials. That's a new, really exciting cancer target that has potential not just for female cancers, but a broader set: lung, stomach, bladder, testicular cancer.
Wow. Marty, can't wait to see you in town here in a couple of weeks. He's going to be in studio with us. He's going to be on a couple TV shows where you get a chance to interview him one-on-one. We do a whole show with that guy. Marty, thanks, pal. Good to see you. Martin Lehr, CEO, co-founder, Context Therapeutics. Look up the stock symbol CNTX. CNTX. And coming up, more Big Biz.